Montana State was sweet. Montana State was sweet.
It looked awesome.
I do
How
not.
cold was it for real?
Cold. It was cold.
Yeah, it looked freezing.
It was cold.
That's why those heaters were huge.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah. So there was no heaters on the feet. There's no heaters on the feet. There was heaters on the top, but I think there was a full generator type thing going on as well with how many generators. The generators. It was so cold. A lot of tech was not working. So I think everybody was working their ass off trying the best they possibly could, but it was cold out there. I mean, I come from Pittsburgh, so normally pretty cold place. I've been out in the woods a lot when it's cold, so I think I had a good game plan going in. But the no heaters down by the feet, I think, was the real boom for somebody doing 3 hours of television in there. That was something that was about 2.5 hours in. 2 hours and 15 minutes, maybe. Somewhere between 2:15, 2:30. I lost feeling in my feet, got real pain in all my toes. And I had two socks on and a big furry boot on because I thought I was prepared in there. The others on the set did lose feeling in their feet earlier in the show. And I did look at their shoe selection a couple times, and I thought to myself, aggressive decision with what you did, but I think you looked amazing. But also they're a little bit older than me, and I think I'm a little bit more mobile. But like everybody's feet were the big thing. That video gets released of Herb Street, obviously. I think because he had lost feeling in his feet, and I'm not going to talk I did not know that was happening. I'm going to let Kirk do. Kirk will talk for that, however it worked. But
Sweet outfit though.
He looked fucking awesome. Yeah. And everybody's feet on that stage were in bad spot. I think he was getting a heater, a foot heater thing put on the bottom of his sock because we'd learned that we had that. Paula came in from the heated tent and was like, hey, they got feet heaters here because everybody's going through it. And I believe there was a massive I would like that, but we only had a commercial break. So I don't know if this is exactly what happened because I did not see this happening, but I think he was getting a feet heater tried to put on his thing, and then they were trying to do that whole thing. I'll let Kirk talk about it. It was awesome, though. The Montanans were so incredibly hospitable. The Montana State Rodeo team, I appreciate the hell out of them, and I can't wait to get back in the warmer weather because it feels like the Treasure State is a real one. It was beautiful. I picked Montana because Colt Anderson, my punt protector, my personal protector, was a Montanimal for the Grizzly for a long time. Yeah. And Mark Mariani, friend of mine, was also a member of the Grizz. He was there. He was on the digital show. I had to pick. Montana State had a better team, though. I knew that looking at it. Touchdown Tommy and them were fucking unbelievable. They did beat the hell out of Montana. The Montana State Rodeo team, so fucking cool, so fucking nice. I can't thank them enough. I was a little bit worried about, I got no problem with this steer. You know what I mean? I got no problem with this particular steer here. Why am I going to do it? They're like, well, this is one of the events that we participate in, obviously, because this is a big part of ranching is keeping the steer and the cattle within your farm and your land. And sometimes you got to hop off a horse or an ATV and tackle that thing so we can get it back in. That was my first attempt. It was my first go at it. This steer is 1,000,000% okay. I've been told, and I checked up on it afterwards. And that Coach Kyle right there, the big son of a bitch in the back, his name's Trav Johnson. I guess he is an incredible cowboy. He used to be a great quarterback in the state of Washington, in a farm town in Washington. COVID year was his senior year. Went to a small school, got 0 offers to play football. I guess he was a great football player. So he's now a Montana State Cowboy. And they say he is a guy.
Real talent.
He's a guy around there. They got the best cowgirl in America on their rodeo team. She was the one that was teaching me how to throw the thing. I missed that 5 times. I could not get the lasso. I could not figure out where to aim, how to aim. This one feels like one, though, that if I was to do full time, I could probably do pretty well. There's a lot of form in that thing, and also a lot of nerves as you're staring down the barrel of a livestock.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I don't feel much nerves anymore, and that's going to sound probably alarming to a lot of people, or no shit. I'm kind of just like a whatever happens, happens guy, always have been. If it doesn't go well, it's a story. If it does go well, awesome. So it's always that. When I'm standing in front of a gate that I'm controlling, I can open it, or I can, and on the other side is a fucking steer with sharp. That was fucking sharp.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't until I'm standing there and I'm like, I just learned how to do this a minute and a half ago. Had no idea I was doing this 45 minutes ago. No clue. Showed up there No clue. I thought I was watching their team practice. Their team wasn't practicing. They just put that together for me. It was almost like, what do you want to do? So it was my practice. I'm all of a sudden at practice. So it's
Personal
like,
lesson.
okay, got to do everything here. And they were so hospitable. So I'm staring. At that moment, I'm going eye to eye with this steer. Why am I doing this? Like, actually, why am I right here? Why am I doing it? And then I open the gate, and then that fucking thing comes flying out, and you're supposed to grab it immediately upon exit from there. And if, oh shit, you actually hear me say, oh shit, I missed the horn. And then I grab the steer down a little bit further, and then it's all back in my training. You got to get a rear naked choke on that right steer. You got to push the left one down. And then as you're pushing it down inside your thigh, you grab in for a rear naked choke almost. And then you got to hang clean, right, which I'm pretty good at. Boom, you're coming back with it. And so
They tell you how much that steer weighed?
500 to 600 pounds.
God. Holy shit.
Well, that's why, I mean,
Son of a
you
bitch.
can't pussyfoot around because that thing will fuck you up if you're
Yes.
not,
Yes.
big time.
Yes, absolutely. And they also told me that they were all very positive, Coach Kyle Whitaker is a current professional cowboy who does the steer wrestling as a professional. So he was teaching me it, and I had to ask him a couple questions. He would show me something. They have a little fake one, a little rubber one that you practice on, and he would show it, and then I'd get in there. I'm like, so you're telling me, and then he's like, all right, I'll show you again. And I'm like, this guy's probably scared to death. And for me, though, I would like to know what I'm doing here. So I'm not scared to ask, I'll ask a quick 5 questions, hey, I'm about to, let's try to get this as successful as possible. And he was very motivating, very coaching. And then there was somebody who was like, all right, now, let's make sure we do this safe now or whatever. And that's oh, yeah, this is a fucking wild animal.
Yeah.
This is it was a big one, too. I mean, it was a big son of a bitch. They were very nice, though. Incredibly nice, very hospitable. Out 40 minutes away from everything. I had no idea I was going there either. Drive all the way out there. I'm like, holy fuck, what am I doing? And I'm like, well, I can't wait to maybe get on a horse and watch these guys practice. Had no idea. Showed up at the Bobcat Arena. They're all just waiting on me to get her. What do you want to do? Well, I wanted to watch your practice. I had no idea. Had to take off all my fucking clothes because I had jacket, 2 hoodies on.
Yeah.
I got 2 chains on and a watch, right, in front of all these cowboys right before I'm going around. I'm like, all right, everybody relax. Okay?
Turn around.
Everybody relax. All right, everybody needs to relax. I do wear chains or whatever, and then I get in there and do it. They were very nice. I have the utmost respect for those cowboys out there.
Shit, you kidding me?
Legit.
Hell yeah.
It's a cool
Flavor.
world. It's a cool world they live in. That's what Jordy wants us to come out there at some point and do a whole competition thing with he and his brother. They do that stuff. They ride horses. They tie up the legs. They do everything.
So I think that's a goat that they tie up or whatever because they talked about that. And then normally for the steer wrestling, you'd be on a horse and then you get off horse and then you boom and then the horse kind of moves away and then you do the whole thing. So I obviously not a good enough
Horseman.
equestrian. I'm not a good enough equestrian to do that. I've only been on a horse twice. But they do it on ATVs. There's a lot of ranchers, I think, on ATVs these days.
Changing the game.
I think ATVs are which I'm pretty good. I'm pretty solid on an ATV. I don't know about the real horseback, but the ATV, I think I could have pulled it off. They were very nice. I'm very appreciative, very grateful. And that'll be something I'll never do again. But I will certainly say, yeah, wrestled some steers in Montana.
Yeah.
No big deal. You know what I mean? That's a hilarious line.
Montana,
Awesome experience.
Awesome experience.
as a whole, enjoyed it. Just the state
It was
itself.
a postcard, that was one of the first places you land in a beach town. It's like, oh, this is beautiful.
Yeah.
This is beautiful. You're just looking at the ocean, and I don't want to talk shit about the ocean, but you go to one beach, you've been to a lot of them. You've been to a lot of them. Now, obviously, there's bigger beaches in parts of Florida on the Gulf and other places like in Hawaii. My wife and I go to this one beach where it's huge and the views are different. But normally, you're staring out at the ocean, pretty similar. You're looking for that line out there. It's out there. Some places have bigger waves than others, but the ocean, pretty much similar view. The desert, you're looking for the mountains in the desert, right? That's what the view is. That's why everybody wants to go to Phoenix, and that's why everybody looking for the view of the mountain and the way the sun sets and the colors and everything like that. I'm a big views guy. That view is one that I have not experienced. You're in a fucking Bob Ross painting. I mean, you are actually, with the way the mountains are set up, and the way it just, everywhere you look is just beautiful. it's certainly you could see why people would want to go there. And the Montanans, great people.
Oh yeah.